Patricia Gibson.
Madam Deputy Speaker, I'm delighted to participate in this debate today at day 2 of committee stage, and I'm going to do something unusual tonight. I'm actually going to talk about clauses 46 and 47, which the opposite benches, most of whom refuse to do. And I'll begin by saying that I support Amendment 33 from the Scottish National Party. We are witnessing in this bill a smash and grab on Scotland's powers. And far from the much-touted powerhouse Parliament, we have Clause 48, a clause which sees the UK Government reserving the devolved policy of state aid, and Clause 47, which sees powers given to the UK ministers in devolved areas. Yep. Now, I'll say that again because you obviously don't understand it. The honourable gentleman doesn't understand it because I saw him questioning people before. Clause 46 sees powers given to UK ministers, government ministers in devolved areas. I'll speak slowly so you understand. Such as infrastructure, economic development, public spending, culture, sport, education and training, and the list goes on. What we're seeing, no, I will not give way. I was trying to educate you a wee bit. I'm always happy, Madam Deputy Speaker, to clear up confusion about what devolution actually means, because there's clear lack of knowledge about it. What we are seeing in this legislation is an underhand, sleight of hand, whereby Scots, who for decades have rejected the Tories, being put in their box with powers stripped from their Parliament. A Parliament for which the case was hard fought and won in the teeth of vociferous Tory opposition, and taking them back to Westminster. Now, we all know that the Scottish Parliament was established for Scots to have some say in their own affairs, to allow Scotland to do things differently, instead of every single aspect of our lives governed by a Tory government which has won the support of few Scots and the hearts of even fewer. Now, after 21 years, the Tories have run out of patience with us pesky Scots, and they are using legislative procedures hell-bent on bringing the nation that continues to reject them to heel. Scotland will now be denied the choice to use her Parliament to do things differently in this bill, to do things according to our values, to do things according to our beliefs. The very essence of devolution is being undermined, diluted and constrained. And in doing so, opposition to this arrogant madness has united whole swathes of Scottish society, our people, civic society, our educational institutions, our farming communities and our trade unions. We in Scotland rejected this in the Scottish Parliament last month overwhelmingly. Yeah. And for Scotland's Parliament, which this opposite benches don't seem to understand, for Scotland's Parliament not to have control over its own spending priorities is an affront to the democratic will of the sovereign people of Scotland. The fact is that the plans as set out in these clauses means that democratically elected MSPs and members of the Scottish Government can be overlooked, bypassed, marginalised when it comes to spending decisions, and will jeopardise the current Barnett funding formula. For the Tories, though, it will certainly solve the problem identified by Labour's Baron Fuchs of Cumnock, which, and I paraphrase Madam Chair, who said, Scotland is doing things better than in England and they are doing it deliberately. This mean-spirited, grubby, underhand, squalid, sweaty-handed power grab is an attempt to stop just that. Scotland doing things better and doing them better deliberately. In short, this bill grabs power from the Scottish Parliament.
You know nothing as usual.
This bill, I will in just a moment, and in answer to the other question, Madam Deputy Speaker, about what powers are going to be lost, this bill could even allow Westminster to interfere on devolved taxation powers, threatening schemes such as the small business bonus. Now, the Sewell Convention says that it would not normally legislate in respect of devolved matters without the consent of the devolved parliaments. And the devolution settlement is clear. What is not reserved is devolved. For this Tory government to underline the devolution settlement by refusing to recognise that the correct vehicle for delivery for these programmes designed to replace EU funding is to ride a coach and horses through the devolution settlement. What it means is that spending decisions on key infrastructure projects such as social objectives will be taken out of the hands of the Scottish Parliament and could be completely out of step with the social and public policy of Scotland's elected government, excluding important players in Scotland's civic society. And what if the UK government imposes a project on Scotland that goes against the democratic wishes or priorities of the Scottish Parliament? What will happen? How will these disputes be resolved? How will these disputes be settled? I think we know where the power grab takes us in answer to that question. I can barely believe, Madam Deputy Speaker, I can barely believe the blatant insult of this UK government trying to portray the dismantling of the powers of the Scottish Parliament as a power surge. Get a grip of yourselves. Who on earth do they think they are fooling? Scots are not daft. We can see the bluff and the bluster and the grubby way this government does politics. We have waited too long for our own Parliament to see it dismantled by a party that has been rejected by Scotland again and again, and for the record has been rejected, Madam Deputy Speaker, because they simply do not understand Scotland. Increasingly, there is a... I will give way.
I'm shocked. Madam Chair, I'm very grateful to the member for North Ayrshire and Arran. It does show that perseverance is rewarded eventually. You've made disparaging comments about the Honourable Lady. I do apologise. Madam Chair, the Honourable Lady has made reference to the devolution settlement, so I draw her attention to Donald Duer's 1997 White Paper, Scotland's Parliament, where it says, and I quote, "Westminster will continue to be responsible for those areas of policy best run on a United Kingdom basis." It goes on, by preserving the integrity of the United Kingdom, the Union secures for its people participation in an economic unit which benefits business and provides access to wider markets and investment and increases prosperity to all. What is wrong with that?
What the Honourable Gentleman does again, as many of his colleagues have done, to be fair to the Honourable Gentleman, is that he's demonstrated that, again, he does not understand devolution. There is nothing to prevent common frameworks. The SNP government have never objected to that. But what you're doing with this, what is being done, Madam Speaker, with this bill, is that they are deliberately removing powers from the Scottish Parliament, removing the Scottish Government to set its own priorities. So common frameworks are not the issue. There is a dawning realisation, Madam Deputy Speaker, that up with this, we in Scotland need not put. This government knows it will never get legislative consent from the Scottish Parliament for this bill. If the Tories want to run Scotland, Madam Speaker, if they want to run Scotland, then they really ought to try winning an election. Because the grubby tactics being used in this bill to emasculate our national parliament will simply not work. The more they try to constrain Scotland's democratic rights, the more the ties that bind us to the rest of the UK loosen. So keep talking. The Scottish people are sovereign. Clauses 46 and 47 are merely footnotes on the journey to Scotland's independence. All this government is doing with its incompetence and bluster is moving us along our way to independence, overplaying its hand, putting the final nails in the unionist coffin, and for that at least, Scotland can be grateful.